Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of another race of our RSF1 season. Well, season 2 on my channel, but I believe it's season 5 in RSF1, and we're here this year in Div 5 at the current time. Now, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but if you have not seen race number 1, which was around I can't remember what track it was around. But whatever track it was around, I'm going to spoil it for you in a moment. You've had enough time to go and check it out now. We won race number 1 of the season. And we do go into this race in the championship lead. And as you can see, the conditions currently in qualifying are tricky. They're wet, but it told us that the dry tyres were the best tyres to be on. So that's what we're doing. We're out on the dry tyres, just doing a little feeler lap here. This is why I've left it in the video. Just going around, featuring around, just trying to make sure we feel all the grip of the track and just understand where the problems are, where the lack of grip is. As you can see, we're sliding absolutely everywhere. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky race for ourselves. We're just going to hang on in here and see what we can do. Hopefully the race is not going to be a wet one, because if it's a wet race, then that's a problem. But fingers crossed it won't be a wet race for ourselves, because we're not very good in the wet conditions. And yes, race 1, I've just remembered, was around France. So we won race 1 around France. We go here to race 2 in Belgium, round 2. Now we're doing a bit of a, should we say we did a driver draw on the RSF1 official Twitch channel, and we did a track draw as well for this first season. And yeah, we just thought we'd do it a little bit different. But yeah, you can see now on our flying lap, we're just trying to carry as much speed as we possibly can. It's normally flat out, nearly flat out up our Rouge, and you can see we really tiptoed up there. Fruit Boy out. As you can see on our out lap, there was a crash as well. Now we're coming into this tricky corner. If you hit that inside curb, you normally spin, but we just about got it right. Coming now into the next section, slightly offline. Get on the throttle. Still going. And we come to the line now, and it's a 52.1. But now, you can see, we know the track's improving, so we're going to see if we can go better now on the same set of tyres without having to go into the pit lanes. We did put enough fuel to do another run. Now we're going to come into Al Rouge, and we're going to be a little bit more braver up Al Rouge and Radion this time. We are not, but we do get a better line and a better run, and on the power a lot earlier. And you can see we're 6 to 7 tenths up now. We are flying. But one of our rivals so far, Fruit Boy, is out of the session. And it won't be the only person. There was a couple others that came out. I didn't see who crashed out in front of us. There was another car to the side there. Now, slightly offline again. On the power, hit the curb. We're out. We're in the wall. We're out. We're
okay?
out of quali. We're out of qualifying. And it doesn't matter what the first lap we did. That retires us from the session. We will start towards the back. But we won't start at the back because there's been a lot more people retired before us. And as you can see now, Stars Orphan, our teammate, qualified 7th in that first session. We're going to scroll down quickly. You can see Locker, Fruit Boy, JJ Chadwick, a couple of other drivers, and ourselves. Fruit Boy was a guy there that was out. And you can see Ruli Ethan's crashed out. These conditions are awful. Now Kabuki's crashed out. There has been so many retirements so far in this session. It's crazy. Everyone's just going around. Everyone's making mistakes. It is tricky conditions. Now it's dry, but the thing is it's still a difficult track to drive around. As you can see here from Ellis the Great. Spins here in Q2 and just keeps it on the track. We lose Stars, Invade, Ethan and Dano from that session. But Dano does have a 5-place grid penalty, which will knock us up into P14 when we start the race. And MT the Mighty's around. He's in the wall. He's out as well. MT the Mighty is also out of qualifying. He has crashed. There's another car around there, which I believe was Mando. Now you can see only Destroyer on the lap. That would have distracted him slightly. Alice the Great had a little disconnection, which means he's going to start as AI. So that'll be fun for everybody. Now, only Destroyer, who's a lot lower than you'd expect him to be. That's an amazing lap from Skyline, by the way. 42.0, 7 tenths up front of Ellis the Great. And only Destroyer only improves to 6th. So it's going to be Skyline, Ellis the Great, Mando, Teema, Tacticals, Only Destroyer, Racing Car, Kabuki, Hippo, and Empty the Mighty in their top 10. Now we start the race down in P14 after our little crash. So fingers crossed we can do, well, we're aiming to get into the points. And now you can see we gear up to the 3, 4, 5 red lights. Let's go, go, go for the Belgian Grand Prix round spawn. What a launch we get. We're past Invade already. Stars Orphan, Hippo, and we're going to go down the inside of Ruly Ethan. Racing Car comes across in front of us, and there's not an awful lot anybody can do. Everyone just concentrated into one corner there, and everybody just got together. There wasn't a lot that could be done there, and the VSC's been deployed. As you can see, we let Racing Car go back past us because we wasn't sure at the time if it was our fault, but we just wanted to be careful. But we realise now that he has massive damage. We go past him. We're into P18, so we already dropped down to the back end of the field. Our teammate Stars Orphan behind us in P19, so not a great start for AlphaTauri. Or hashtag Team Tory as we've been calling them. Now, good launch through that corner. Past Empty the Mighty. Brave it on the inside curve there. Hippo going slow. I think Hippo also has damage from that turn 1 incident. Now we should be able to just stroll past Hippo. Hippo's a good guy. He won't fight it with damage and he just lets us go. Good lad. You can see Daniel P45 has a drive-through from the VSC. You got Locker in front of us now. We're gaining on RSF1 Locker. Daniel's in, Locker's in, so he must have damage too. JJ Chadwick also in the pits. Who else is in? Anybody else in the pits? Only Destroyer also in the pit lane. Mando in the pits. And that will push us up into... Oh, we're P11, so Mando's pitted and come out in front of us, which is not ideal. But we're in P12 right now. Mando's P11. You can see we can carry a lot more speed through here in the dry conditions, as you would expect. Now we're pushing as hard as we possibly can. There's been an incident behind. There's a Mercedes in the wall. Racing Car's also retired in the pit lane. But there's a Mercedes in the wall up Al Rouge and Radion. And he is out of the Grand Prix. It's not Hippo, so it's his teammate. His name escapes me right now. But he's out of the Grand Prix. And it brought out a VSC. Now we're on lap 3. We're already up into 10th place. Somebody else in the pit. Dano in the pits. So we jump past Dano. We are absolutely tearing our way through the field. Started 14th, dropped down into 18th place, or 19th place I think actually, when we let a couple cars through. And now we're just pushing as hard as we possibly can to see if we can close that gap. We were aiming for the lower end of the points today, and we're already in P9. Invade behind us now. Ruly Ethan in the pit lane. We're up into P8. We are absolutely tearing our way through this field without having to overtake people. They're just all pitting or having incident, getting damage, and we're just cruising past everybody. JJ Chadwick past lap of the race. Now, you can see we're on the back of Mando nearly. 1.3 seconds back from him. He has a 3-second penalty. And there's a safety car. Safety car, safety car. I don't know who has crashed. I'm looking on the mini-map right now, and it looks like it's a Ferrari or an Alfa Romeo. It's Alfa or a Ferrari. I think it's a Ferrari. So one of the Ferraris is out. We're boxing at the end of this lap to get these soft tyres off our car because they are starting to go off. And Mando right in front of us. We're also repairing front wing damage, which we did pick up in turn 1. So we're repairing that as well. Get the medium tyres on. We managed to just about jump Mando in the pit lane. He must have had an issue in his pit stop as well. And we're in P8. So we've managed to get in the pit lane, get out, and come out in P8 after everybody having their own individual incidents. And it's propelled us up the field. Now the safety car's coming in this lap. A very strange safety car restart from Ellis the Great at the time. He's literally trailing the safety car. And none of us know what's going on. And Kabuki and JJ Chadwick get a 5-second penalty for hitting each other. And that just means they move out of my way. We gain 2 more free positions. We're in 6th place now. And we are making our way through the field beautifully at this point. Now, what can we do? Can we catch Fruit Boy? Or will Fruit Boy also move out of our way like everybody else has been doing all race? We're going to try to be brave up Al Rouge. On the power, I think there was a slight tiny lift. But we are flying now. Using a lot of ERS. We're resuming racing, but I think there's been an incident behind us with Hippo. Oh no, it's not Hippo. It's the Aston Martin. Apologies to Hippo there. It's an Aston Martin that's made a mistake up Al Rouge and Radion. Now we are gaining on Fruit Boy. Through the corner we crashed on in qualifying, but the conditions were a lot different to what they are now. You can see Timmer is holding up Fruit Boy slightly, but we're just closing on him through every single corner. And we're getting so much closer now. Can we make a move? Not far off. And there's a VSC. I don't know what's happened now, but there's a VSC. Oh, it looks like an Alpine car has crashed up Radion there. Now we're back under green, and you can see Fruit Boy has been passed or has made a mistake because we're somehow now in front of him, and there's no clip of that, and I'm not really sure why. Now we're behind Timmer. Can we make a move on Timmer as quick as possible and somehow get ourselves into P2? Now at this point, what was running through my mind is, can I get myself into a position to do a one-stop? Realistically, a one-stop would not be possible, but we're thinking about it. We made a little mistake through there, ran slightly wide, avoid any sort of warning, I don't know how. But yeah, we're thinking about the one-stop at the moment, and as you know, everyone else seems to just be moving out of our way. So if everyone else has to pit, we could try and drag the tyres to a one-stop. We'd have a good gap there, and it would help us massively. Now Timmer, in front of us, he's run slightly wide, got on the curb, he's in the wall! Timmer is out of the Grand Prix as well. Another car that's literally just moved out of our way. Now, we have those high-flying, fast Dano behind us. Dano is a very quick driver, and at the moment, he's got pace on us. We are just going to have to make sure we hit our braking points. Don't make any silly mistakes like we just did through there. Don't lose the back end. If you lose the back end once, Dano will be through. But yeah, at the same time, me and Dano are gaining on Tacticals in front. Now Tacticals, at the time, I didn't know this because I wasn't close enough, but he is lagging. He is lagging all over the place, and you'll see that firsthand at some point in this Grand Prix. But Tacticals was absolutely propelling all over the track at one point in this race. But at the moment, we got a 2-second gap. We did just lose a little bit of time because I think he straight lined Al Rouge and Radion to gain a little advantage. But now, into the windy section where you can't really do anything there, because he did gain a penalty, so he hasn't gained anything really from it. We lose the back end slightly. Had a little panic attack there, because that's the one we crashed on in qualifying. But now we're down to 1.8 seconds. We are gaining through this section. This sector is one of our favourite sectors on the entire track, and as you can see now, it's 1.2 by the end of the lap. We're flying in comparison, and there you go, there's the first little lag you can see from Tacticals, and he's into the pit lane, and somehow after starting in P14 we lead the Grand Prix. Yes, you heard that right, we are leading this race after starting 14th. Now I don't know how this happened, a lot of people don't know how this happened. Everyone just seemed to part the Red Sea and let me just stroll through. And yeah, it's not like I'm the quickest guy here. I'm just getting extremely lucky at this moment. But we're continuing and we're pushing forward. And fingers crossed, we can maybe drag these tyres to the end. If we have to pit again, we need a safety car. Because if we have to pit again without a safety car, it's going to ruin our race. And we're going to drop down probably nearly to 10th place, potentially. But right now, you can see we got a lot of extra fuel as well because we did overfuel by mistake because we didn't expect as many safety cars as we had. But I'd rather overfuel and get to the finish line than underfuel and run out of fuel and have to fuel save for the whole race. Now, you can see, lap 15, we're pushing forward. Dano is still there. I can't get rid of him at the moment. Dano's just staying on our rear end. Stars is in the pit lane. And as you can see, as we're talking about Dano being on our rear end, he has lost it up Al Rouge and Radion, made a huge mistake on the curb, I would believe. And Mando has managed to get past him now. But Dano already had a 5-second penalty. Mando's got an 8-second penalty, but Dano's repassed Mando. But that mistake may have cost him any chance of this race victory. Massive mistake. You see Destroyer in 5th place. I'm very surprised with Destroyer this weekend. Well, now he's up to 4th actually. He's past Mando. Mando must have made a big mistake somewhere. But as you... yeah, Destroyer's now into P2. That order's changed a little bit. And it looks like Dano's either pitted or out of the Grand Prix. It's one or the other. I can't see him at the moment. I think he has pitted. He's a bit further down the order. And Destroyer is now our closest rival, who's 10.4 seconds back down the road. But you'll see, because he's on fresh hards, we're on worn mediums, and we just need to now hope we can work our way through the field. And, well, just, I don't know what I'm talking about working through the field. My cat's being a very big distraction in the corner of my eye. Now we get a 3-second penalty there. Big mistake. Now Destroyer, behind us still, is now 9.6 seconds behind us. He is pushing hard. We're just cruising at this point. As you can tell from our ERS that we've got left, we're trying to just cruise to the finish. And oh my god, Destroyer's out! Only Destroyer has made a huge mistake. And he's out of the Grand Prix. He was guaranteed a P2. He could push for the P1 and the win, but he was guaranteed P2 and he brought out a safety car. And as you can see right now, we noticed we got a fresh set of soft tyres, new, and we've gone and pitted onto them. Now, will everybody else do the same? It looks like everybody except from Fruit Boy and Tacticals are doing it. Can we get out just in front of Fruit Boy? Just about. So we're in P2. Now we have to follow the lagging car of Tacticals. You'll see it now. This is why all of this has been left in. You can see how bad Tacticals lags from this point onwards because he starts propelling everywhere. You can see right now he's not actually swerving side to side. And you can also see that Fruit Boy is getting extremely close to me under this safety car. Not overly sure why at the time, but I believe he does pick up a penalty for doing so. But he is very, very close to us. We're trying to avoid the back of Tacticals because for some reason he is awfully laggy. So we're just keeping our distance. And there you go. There you can see the penalty that Fruit Boy does pick up for hitting the back of us. We didn't know anything about it. We didn't move. That was all on him. And you can see Tacticals just absolutely lagged across the screen. You cannot guess where he is. And you can see in a moment when we get the restart. I am being very cautious. I don't care about getting a good restart on him here. He has more penalties than myself. We are just trying to stay away from his car and avoid damage. You can see. Look, you can't tell if he's going to go or not. We just keep our distance. And he eventually goes.
Green flag.
And we deliberately get a poor start because we didn't want to be near him there. And now, if we can be smart about this, we can keep behind Tactical. But I've just noticed Skyline has 1.2 seconds behind. Dano's 1.8 seconds behind. And we have a 3-second time penalty. So we now need to go. We need to go if we want to win this race. Or we're looking at potentially P3. So it's time to go. And you can see we've got the gap on Dano now. On to the final lap of the race. There is a just under 2-second gap now to Skyline. We're pushing. We're practically pushing Tacticals around this lap. We're pushing him into driving faster than he probably wants to, but we have to do it. Now Tacticals goes wide. He loses the back end. He comes back on the track, but he's lagging all over the place. Oh, we go down the inside of him after he propels back onto the circuit. So now, it's our time. We've got no one in front of us. Can we go for the fastest lap of the race on this lap and just push as hard as possible? You can see that Skyline 1.8 seconds behind us. I think Tacticals does have damage though. Fruit Boy's there, catching up with Tacticals. Now what we need is the 2 cars behind us to hold up Skyline. You can see he's now 2.2 seconds, 2.3 seconds. It's working to our advantage now. 2.4. It's continuously going up. 2.5. We're getting so close to what we need now. We're guaranteed P2. Dano's nearly 4 seconds back. Skyline's still not found a way through Fruit Boy and Tacticals. Fruit Boy's found a way past Tacticals. Now Skyline is out of the 3 seconds. All we got to do is just keep pushing as hard as possible. Make sure we get to this finish line. It's 3.7. We're so close. 3.9. We should have this now. 4.1 seconds. And we're purple middle sector. We have pushed this lap like a madman, using all of the ERS. Every little bit of power of this engine we can get. We're just taking advantage of it at this point. Burning everything. Trying to get to the line as quick as possible. Turn it off so we just have a little bit for the burst of the line before it runs out. Now into the final corner. Hit the apex. Make sure we hit that apex. Burst to the line. And realise at this point we've got it. And we win! the Belgium Grand Prix with the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. And we are now 2 out of 2 in the championship. I'll update you on the championship in the next episode because it's easier to put it at the start of the next episode. But we are championship leader from the first possible 52 points. We have 51 points. Our teammate comes home in P6 there. Skyline and Dano share the podium with ourselves. Ellis the Great will drop down a load of positions. I think he drops down to 9th, so Stars Orphan does get 5th in the end because Ellis the Great had a load of penalties to add on. But what a race! 14th to 1st, and I can also tell you we do get Driver of the Week for RSF1 as well, which you can find on the RSF1 Twitter account in the official description, which you can find from the RSF1 account on Twitch, which you can watch all these races live. Now, guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you're new around here, subscribe for more. If you enjoyed this, leave a like. I've been Chris12LFC, and I will see you later.